Hey there, and welcome to my new video. In this one, I'll be discussing the top tips I have for people who are using or have just begun using the Godot engine. With that said, let's jump in. Before we begin, I'd just like to say that I have recently released The Weight of Armor, a 2D medieval platformer with a unique sword fighting mechanic made with the Godot engine. The game is completely free on itch.io, so I'd appreciate if you'd check it out, link is in the description. Alright, let's get back to the video. The first tip of today's video is learning what the different types of nodes do. In Godot, basically everything is made up of nodes. Do you want a character that you can move around with your keys? Just add the character body. Do you want a character to collide with the scene around it? Add the collision shape or a collision polygon. Do you want to set a timer? Have a look at the aptly named timer node. Each node has different built-in variables and functions depending on its type. For example, the timer has the wait time variable and the character body has the move and slide function. Also, some nodes come with special signals, which leads us right into my next tip. Signals are messages that nodes emit when specific conditions are met. These conditions can range from another node entering its collision to a timer running out. You can choose the signal you want in the menu on the top right and attach it to a node of your choice, so this node doesn't have to be the one that emits the signal. These are essential tools for basically any type of game, so I highly recommend checking them out. Next to the Signals tab is the Groups tab, which leads us into my next tip. Groups let you organize nodes into, well, groups, allowing you to manage them separately and differentiate them. For example, if you have a bullet node, you can check whether it collides with a node from the enemies group or the wall group, and then decide what to do from there. On top of that, you can manage all the nodes in a group all together. For example, you can delete all nodes that belong to a certain group. My next tip would be to familiarize yourself with the project settings. Here you can set things like the resolution of the game, whether it is full screen or not, and how it responds to changing the window size. You can also customize the input map, which lets you create different quote-unquote actions that can respond to multiple key presses, and keep in mind that all Godot projects come with built-in actions as well. Still in the project settings, you can find the Auto Load tab. In this tab, you can add scripts which are always loaded, allowing you to store variables that every scene can access. This is useful for like an inventory system or just saving data in general, on which topic I already have done a tutorial video. While we are on the topic of scenes, let's move on to my next tip, which is to familiarize yourself with and learn how to utilize the scene system. In Godot, every game is made up of scenes. Each scene consists of a root node, which has children nodes, which can also have other children nodes, and so on and so forth. You can also embed scenes into one another, which is a very useful tool if you have a certain object that is the same across multiple scenes. For example, you can save the player as a separate scene, which means that you can just add that player scene to each level. You could also get creative with this system. For example, you can create a quote-unquote master scene that loads and unloads children scenes. I recommend this approach when designing menus, for example. My final tip is the most important one, especially for people who just picked up the engine. This tip is to not be afraid to ask questions on the Godot forum and the Godot engine subreddit, and to read the documentation available online. The latter contains most of the information that you need for designing your game, and the people on the subreddit and on the forum are all very helpful. I'll link all of these websites in the description of this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and consider supporting me on Patreon. Oh, and don't forget to check out The Weight of Armor. Until next time, goodbye and take care.